Hi there, musicians. It's Miss Hendricks. Today we're going to work on learning about this music term, pitch. Sounds can be all kinds of things. When we listen to the world around us, we hear all kinds of different sounds. We use different words to help us understand how the sounds were made and what they mean when we hear them. We hear sounds that can be high, low, warm, thin, loud, soft, lots and lots of words. One of the most important words is this word, pitch. The two words that we'll use to talk about sound today are high and low. And these two words, high and low, tell us the pitch of the sound, or how high or how low the sounds are. So take a look at the different animals that I've got listed here. So we've got a mouse, a bird, we've got, I believe, a capuchin monkey, we've got a bat, and we've got a cat. So these animals here all have something in common. Their call, the thing that they sound, is high-pitched. A mouse makes a high-pitched squeak. A bird makes a high-pitched tweet. A monkey makes a high-pitched hoot. A bat makes a very high-pitched squeak. And a cat makes a high-pitched meow. All of these animals have something else in common too. They're all pretty small. A mouse is certainly small. A bird fit in your hands. It's not very big. A monkey is not very big. I would say it's about that tall. A bat isn't very big either, and a cat, not so big. These animals all have high-pitched sounds, and they're all pretty small. Take a look at the next set of animals we've got going on. These animals all have something in common too. We've got our gorilla, we have a whale, a pig, a dog, and a bear. These animals are all large. The blue whale, in fact, is the biggest animal on the whole planet. Gorillas, certainly huge. Pigs, very big. Bears, very big. Dogs, they can get pretty big too. They all have something else in common. They all make low sounds. Every single one of these animals is large and makes a low-pitched sound when it calls. Now check out these musical instruments. There's one I've got to move for us. There we go. Okay. So we have our pictures organized in two categories. We have high notes under the blue arrow on the right side, and we have low notes under the red arrow on the left side. Now, check out these drawings and pictures. The lowest one, the one on the furthest side to the left, is a boy playing a tuba. Tuba, of course, makes a very low sound. It's a big instrument, and it makes a very low sound. One of the other very low instruments is the double bass. It's that very large kind of violin-looking instrument that the woman is playing. That instrument is almost as tall as she is. That's a very tall instrument. The strings are very long. They go from the very top of the instrument all the way to right here, almost to the very bottom. When you strum or bow across the strings, or when you pluck the strings, they make a very low sound. Up next, we've got a trombone. A trombone is also a very long instrument. I don't have a picture of a person playing it, but it's about the same size. You can imagine a person playing it who is about the same size as the woman in the picture next to it. So that trombone is pretty big. It makes low sounds for sure. It can also make some sounds that are medium. So it's not as low as the tuba. It's not quite as low as the string bass, but it also doesn't make high sounds either. So it's kind of in the middle. Now on the flip side, we have a clarinet. So the gentleman playing the clarinet is, well, he's bigger than the clarinet for sure. So the clarinet isn't as tall as he is, like the lady with the string bass. And the clarinet isn't wider than he is, like the boy with the tuba. The clarinet is a medium sounding instrument. It can make some notes that are very high, and it can make some notes that are kind of low. So it's on the lower side of the high sounding instruments. Up next, we've got a violin. The violin uses strings just like the double bass. The big difference is the size. The violin is smaller than the string bass by quite a lot. The violin is perhaps 1/4 of the size of the string bass. That means if you stack 4 violins, they would be the same height as 1 double bass. The strings are much shorter too, and that means that when you strum them or pluck them or bow them, they're going to make a much higher sound. Now, the very highest instrument we have of all is the piccolo. The gentleman on the end wearing the hat is playing the piccolo. Notice how small that instrument is compared to the clarinet, compared to the tuba, compared to the string bass. It's very short. That means that when you blow air through it, it will make a very, very high-pitched sound. Now let's take a look at the piano. The piano is a really special instrument because it has high and low notes. It has notes that are just as low as the tuba or the string bass, and it has notes that are just as high as the piccolo or the violin. The further to the right you go, the higher the sounds will be. The further to the left you go, the lower the sounds will be. Now let's take a look at an instrument that we all have with us. We all carry an instrument that can make high and low sounds around with us all the time. It's our voice. We can use our voice to make high and low sounds, just like the famous opera singer, Marian Anderson. There's a picture of her singing some beautiful music. So we're going to learn a warm-up today, or a vocal exercise that lots of famous opera singers use. When we use our singing voice, we need to make sure it's ready to sing. We're going to make the shape that we see on the page, that blue line, we're going to make it with our voice. We're also going to trace it with our hand, and we're going to put the connection together between what we see on the page and what we can hear with our ears and what we can make with our voice. So let's get started. I'll demonstrate it for you one time, and then we'll do it again, and I'd like for you to join me. Here's how we do it. We get our pointing finger out, and we get ready to trace. This image starts low on the page, so my finger will start low on the screen. Then moves higher, so my finger will get higher, and so will my voice. Let's get started. We ended our sound high because the line ended and it was high on the page. Let's give it one more try. Start low because the line starts low. Nice. All right, we've got 2 more of these that we're going to do. Here's the next one. It's like a green W. So for this one, we're going to start high on the page because the line starts high on the page. So our voice will start with a high pitch. Let's go ahead and get started. Nice. Let's do it one more time. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and do this last one. This one's like a red letter M. And we start with our voice low and our hand low and our eyes low on the page. Nice. Let's do it one more time. Way to go. All right, take a look at this next slide. So we're going to make some connections between size and pitch. So remember those animals. What size animals made the lowest sound? The largest animals. And what size animals made the highest sounds? The smallest animals. Now, what about the instruments? Did it have the same relationship? Could we count on big instruments to sound low? We could. The string bass and the tuba are the lowest sounds. Could we count on the smallest instruments to make a higher sound? We could. The violin and the piccolo were the smallest instruments and they made the highest sounds. Now let's take a look here at this next page. Strings are a really good way to show how size and pitch can go together. The longest strings sound low and the shortest strings sound high. Now the picture that you see is the inside of a grand piano. The longest strings make the lowest sounds, and the shortest strings make the highest sounds. Now I have my guitar with me here today because a guitar is another way to show the length of strings. So on this instrument, there we go. We have 6 strings, and they start at the very top, and they stretch all the way down the front of the guitar, all the way over the sound hole to the bridge at the bottom where they connect. Now, I'm only going to play 1 string today. Now, I'm going to leave the string as long as it can be. I can change how long the string is by pressing down. When I press down, it makes the string shorter, and the closer to the bottom I go, the shorter the string will be. The closer to the top I go, the longer the string will be. So I'm going to start with the longest string I can, and it makes a nice sound. Now I'm going to make the sound short, or the string shorter, and see how it changes the sound. Long, short, long, and short. And if I make the string even shorter, it'll get even higher. Longest, short, very long, much shorter. Now go ahead and pause the video and follow the link in the description box. You'll go to Chrome Music Lab and you'll go to the strings experiment. Go ahead and click around a little bit and see if you can find a connection between how long the string is and how low the pitch is. See if there's a connection between how short the string is and how high the pitch is. When you're all done, come back and we'll review. All right, let's make a prediction. When we pluck or strum or bow a string that is long, do you think it will take a long time for the motion to go through the whole string, or not a long time at all? When we pluck a string that is much shorter, do we think it will take a shorter time for the motion to go through the whole string? Let's review some of the important ideas that we learned together today. A sound can be high or low. Pitch is what tells us the high quality or low quality of a sound. If it is high, it has a high pitch. If it's low, it has a low pitch. Big instruments and big animals tend to sound low. Small instruments and small animals tend to sound high. A long string will sound low when it is plucked, and a short string will sound high when it's plucked. You guys did a great job today. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.